L.L.C, where we treat you like family. That is my music from my first album, the JLE Experience. Detroit Love, a great album. All digital outlets, go check it out. I own the rights to it.
It's all you, Jeffrey. It's all you.
All me. We got another great guest for you for the season 7 season premiere. We have the musician, live streaming, production specialist, owner, CEO of the Pirate Syndicate podcast, Russ Johns. Welcome to the show, sir.
It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for the invitation. I'm humbled by the first episode of season 1, and congratulations on the all the work that you've done. Appreciate it.
Yeah, because season 7, I never thought I'd get this far.
That's fantastic. That's some effort, man. That's some effort.
Yeah, I'm grinding.
Gotta be proud of that.
I actually am. I mean, I'm really out here working hard.
As somebody that's produced a lot of shows and put a few out there myself, I understand and appreciate the effort that it takes in order to accomplish that goal. So, anybody out there that is thinking about it,
man,
is considering podcasting,
tell them.
We're here. Ask your questions. Jump on the comments and ask your questions, because we got a couple of people that have done a few things here.
Hey, shout out to Russ Hedge. He just jumped in.
Awesome. Hello. Russ Hedge. I was just on his show the other day. Awesome individual. Great friend. Love the man. And, he's doing production now. It's really interesting because one of the things that I really am looking forward to in the next half of the year is actually recruiting more people to assist and support the Pirate Syndicate and teaching others how to produce shows, how to get things out there, and increase and improve their skill set. Because I think it's absolutely important that we help more people, Jeffrey.
Oh, you're right. I helped a few out here, and they doing good doing that show. I can't remember if I was the first show that Dr. Nupi Aurora did, the glitter practitioner. Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And she's been doing her thing since. She's awesome.
Fantastic. So what prompted you to start your show originally?
I started it back in summer 2020 because, everybody couldn't go nowhere, sit in the house, watch all the political sports shows. Like, I could talk. I could do it.
Yeah.
So I started doing it just my iPhone, and I put it on YouTube or Facebook, whatever. Really want to use my LinkedIn after I had to do it for a class. And I started looking for a job for a while, so I stopped doing it. And my boy mom has a gospel show, and I saw her post it, and I saw Anchor at the bottom. I'm like, Anchor? What's that?
Anchor.
There's research. Like, audio? I ain't look at nobody. Oh, snap. I can do this. Let's get back on the grind. And my goal was, if I got to episode 22, January 22, I was popping some bottles like, you doing something. I did not expect to start interviewing people. Chris Matone, the first person interviewed, the author from Metro Detroit. He's going to be back on the show next Friday. And the second person was Major Shepherd L., another author. Then they got me to write a book. Like, well, you got a book, can you? You should write it. Like, okay. I'm already doing music. And the more they're telling me about someone they know that should be on the show. And then I came across Tisha Hammond, the small business cheerleader. And she kind of really just blew it up with a lot of amazing entrepreneurs and people she's been counted as doing stuff. And she gave me a lot of names. And before I looked up, near the end of last year, I think I was doing about 3 shows a day. So I'm working on Sunday. I needed to take a break. I was grinding hard. Sometimes it was me over scheduling by accident. And when I got up to, was around March almost, and I realized, oh my God, you done 100 episodes. Wow.
Yeah.
We're on season 6. Like, what the world? Okay. Well.
How'd that happen?
Yeah, I had to go back, and I saw, like, from November to December, I was like grinding, like, oh, yeah, it ain't hard to do 22 if you do like 5 a week.
Yeah.
That's a season. Like, oh, okay. So I've been mandated to get 1,000 by Mary Wells. Encouragement.
1,000 episodes.
Well, I guess 1,000. Like, okay, well, I'll work on that for you.
Yeah, that's a number. That's a good number to reach for. I just really think it's really important that we, love that what we're doing, and I think that it's really great. There's Chester from Texas.
Yep.
I spent quite a few years in Texas, down in Houston way. So I know there's a few people down there that I know from the podcasting days too. So, and Russ Hedges actually, he's got yes, Russ Reels Live. That's another great show, and it seems like it's evolving. Has it felt like for you that it's evolving to live streaming? When live streaming first came out on LinkedIn, it was really, everything blew up. But now it's kind of built into a pace where a lot more people are building it and they're growing it and they're building a community, developing relationships. And it's really about how you can make those connections with individuals.
Because I was doing Anchor and, I was chilling. Like, okay, cranking them out. And then people ask like, well, how can people I know watch it or connect with it? I'm like, well, I don't know about nothing that's out here. And then came across StreamYard. Like,
yeah,
let me do my research, see what that is. Like, okay, put it on platforms. All right, well, now you got the option to do either this one or that one. And I always will push people to do live stream because the goal is I need that one question I ask at the end of every show. What advice do you have for someone to find their purpose? But the show is going to be about marketing, promoting this amazing individual and what they've done in their career and highlight it. And people like that idea that when I tell it to them and they come on the show and I hear amazing stories. It's always a treat to hear someone's story to me. So I'm like, wow, they have to tell me nothing.
Well, it can't help but change your perspective, right?
Oh, absolutely. Some shows, I did not expect people get that confessional. I mean, granted, my daddy was a pastor, so maybe that's where that comes from. Like, the show will be here, and then it might get real deep for me. I'm like, wow, they had to clean out their closet on that one.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Hey, no problem. Someone might need to hear that. It's been very humbling.
Absolutely. Every now and then something comes across and they really, think something will land on us and we'll really need to appreciate what is being said. And this kind of an opportunity gives us a new perspective because we're not limited to the neighborhood. We're not limited to the, next door or down the street.
No.
We're wide open around the world, and there's people all over the world that have had different experiences. And it's really important for us to really understand that we're all connected. We're all have, if you talk to somebody long enough, there's a common thread that we can find out. You and I are both musicians. Our passion and our love is music. My first love was always music. And, I took a turn and fell 3 stories and shattered my arm as a drummer. That was kind of a change in my direction. And the reality is you have to pick yourself up and decide, what am I going to do with it now that I have to think about some other things in life? And the reality also is that, we have a choice. We can get up with gratitude or stay in bed, sleeping and dreaming. So,
yeah. I listen to David Goggins a lot on YouTube, and that dude's very powerful about get out here.
Yeah.
Stop procrastinating.
Yeah. Get up and do it. Just get up and take care of it.
I mean, he say different words, but I ain't saying that.
Yeah, he does. He does. If you want to learn more, you can go hear about David.
Yeah, he's not lying. Like, you gotta get up and get it.
No, you can't sit there and think about it. You got to get up and do it.
And that's with podcasts. You just got to try. You can eventually start getting all the better high tech equipment and be awesome, but at least try.
Yeah, putting yourself out there is I think 90% of it. Failure is an event. Failure is, if you don't try, you still gain the experience. And the way I look at live streaming and content creation and marketing in general is that it's an experiment. Let's figure out, okay, who are we trying to reach out to? What resonates with that audience? what is it that is really important for us to share in a message, and then adjust and tweak all that, those pieces that are going out there.
Mm-hmm.
And you may have a sense of what it should be, but until it actually resonates and you can get contacts into contracts and you get that conversion piece moving, it's all an experiment.
Yeah, my first episode, I was terrified. Kobe Bryant, my favorite player, so I'm like, Mamba mentality, man. You got to do it.
Yeah.
Don't let them see you sweat.
So did you consider quitting after the first one and thinking, well, or
No.
did it get you past the fear factor and know that it didn't kill me. I'm better now. I can do this.
Yeah, like, okay, it ain't that bad. Like, okay, learn more about the comments and all that. Like, okay, I'm going to tweet this weekend my video because I want something more sweet for the beginning and the end.
Yeah.
So I see other people's stuff got like, oh, they got background. Okay. So you start learning more like, okay, I need to tweak that, figure it out.
Keep evolving. Keep on evolving. I think a lot of it also, Jeffrey, and maybe you can speak to this a little bit more, is the curiosity. You've had hundreds of conversations, maybe not all shows, but out of hundreds of conversations, you probably learned something from someone along the way. And it's because you're curious about what's going on in their world and you're interested in hearing the answer.
The biggest thing from all the guests I've had so far, I've learned they will come in. I need to be very serious. Like, no, I ain't Brian Gumble or Dan Rather. This ain't that show. This is a chill conversation about yourself.
Yeah.
And there's not going to be no, well, who were you with last night? Ain't going to be none of that. It's all about what you done to celebrate you. And after a while, people being on the show and they could tell, okay, there's not going to be no, I done scoured the internet. I found, ain't going to be none of that. Yeah. Oh, I can be chilling like, and then it really takes it elsewhere where I might learn something new and the audience might learn something new about it. Because with my tagline, now it's more of a mission that if you didn't feel like family after the episode, I needed to do something better. Because I want you to be comfortable to share your story so someone can learn something to help find their purpose.
Yeah.
So I need you all the way chill to talk about you, about what was your thought process, what you call on your faith or whatever, to get you to where you are. Because someone might be right where you were and they might need to hear what you got to say at that time.
Absolutely. And it's funny how things land on us. We can hear something for, a dozen, 2 dozen, 100 times, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And until we're ready to understand what it truly means to us, until it makes a dent in our life, sometimes it's a challenge to pay attention to that. But I think if we continue to have the conversation, just like you're continuing to have the conversation, ask the great questions, be curious. That's really where that nugget of knowledge comes out, that piece of information that you can actually share and treasure. And I was on a call earlier and, there's a gentleman that from Australia that he was Olympic athlete. And before the trials, he fractured his back, he broke his back and was nearly paralyzed. And, that's a huge opportunity to feel sorry for yourself and get down in the dumps, being known for something that momentous and then having to change your entire outlook on life. And, how we receive that and how we do something with it makes a huge difference in our character. It makes a difference in the rest of our life, and I choose to be inspired rather than depressed. So
absolutely, you're gonna get a Job test and get punched in the gut hard, and you're gonna fall to one knee. But when you get back up, it's what you do from that point.
Yeah,
really
I'm sure you've had experiences where you weren't very comfortable with them. You can't live life without having some of those experiences.
I had to refigure out a lot after I got separated last year. I really had found my purpose after that. So I really never knew. I know I do music. I can write. I ain't thinking about writing books or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I had to start the podcast, and what God got for you is for you. And it just started guiding me to this path. Like, okay.
Yeah.
And
I don't think you're done yet.
Nah, I'm going to have a building. I will have my own broadcast building where multiple people doing different type of shows, podcasting, sponsors. I got to get my nonprofit so I can help people. So I need all the capital so I can get that crank.
Yeah.
And do whatever I got to do to get it going.
First step in the journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
One step at a time.
Now, what led you to your path?
How far back do you want me to go? Which path are you talking about?
well, you say you first loved music, so let's go from music to the live streaming specialist you are.
Okay, all right. So I started playing drums when I was 11 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And started playing professionally when I was 16. I started playing bars and clubs and bands and actually making money at it. And I, played some fairly large venues. And, I was never a recording star or anything like that, but it was just like a cover bands and things like that, house bands. And I played country and I played rock and roll. And I toured around the Northwest and Canada, and we had a bus and 6 guys in a bus traveling around the country, going to college town. And it was a great life. And I was a ski bum, and I used to, I still have the first bike that I rode around the country hanging on my wall here. It was
wow. Okay.
And I was loving life and enjoying life. And then a few changes came along, and I moved up to Portland, Oregon. I was in Portland, Oregon, and I was working as a side job. I was working for a company advertising billboards, and I ended up falling off a billboard 3 stories, shattering my arm and my elbow and my wrist. And so at that point, it's okay. I wasn't playing music at that particular point. It took 2 years of rehab and reconstruction and everything else. And then I became the safety director of the company that I was working for, because they said, "Hey, you got experience in gravity." And so it's like, no. You might as well take advantage of this. So I wrote fall protection programs and became very proficient at that. And I really never thrived in that job because I didn't like the confrontation of having to fire somebody for a violation and, breaking the rules. Mm-hmm. So I became a IT director. And I used to read manuals, they're going back to curiosity. Okay. It's like right when, PCs were coming on board. And so I learned how to program and upgrade and install servers and switches and routers and all these kind of stuff. And did that and worked my way up the corporate ladder. I worked for the Seattle Sonics and radio, television, broadcasting. And then in 2002, Clear Channel bought him out for a tidy sum of money. And I was appointed to the corporate orphanage where I had a lot of free time.
Yeah, corporate orphanage, okay.
Yeah, so then I worked my way out. I took a trip. I actually got divorced at that point in my life and lost my job in about the same week. It's kind of like life-changing circumstance, one more. Yeah. And so I took a sabbatical. I took a year off. I traveled, mountain biked around the country and, trying to figure out, what do I do? Why do I do it? And how do I do it? Mm-hmm. And so, I got into this. I started doing websites and I started developing technology and getting into voice communications and things like that. So everything that I did was in the technology space. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, I was, kind of tied to the radio background and audio work and I was doing commercials and, some audio work there. And in 2013, or actually 2010, I was transferred. I worked for another company that transferred me to Texas.
Okay.
And about 6 months later, they laid me off again. So second bout with the corporate orphanage. And so it's like, okay, I'm done with this corporate gig. You know, I work really hard to get to the top of the ladder. And the next thing you know, I'm back on my own. So I've been doing that ever since. So I've been on my own since 2010. And I've been doing, you know, web development, email marketing, funnels, you know, landing pages, teaching people technology. I was running a couple of radio stations down there. I was actually live streaming high school varsity sports to AM radio. Created a company that I'd hire broadcasters out and put them in the stands, and they would actually call the games and do all the work. And then I would stream it using Spreaker, which is the same platform I use for podcasting.
Okay.
And then I taught podcasting at university and podcast movement. I did workshops on that. And I really enjoyed live streaming because I like the impact that we could actually join, have a live conversation. It's not edited. It's not polished. It's real and raw. And it's Tim Sohn is here in the house.
Great guy.
Fantastic. Great guy. Awesome. Absolutely. Congratulations on the Man of the Year. Yes. He's doing some great work out there.
Absolutely.
And I've just always been drawn to helping more people, just learning technology, sharing what I know, and actually seeing what I can do to help people, help more people, you know. And that's why, you know, I believe that kindness is cool and smiles are free. There's really no limitation to what we can do these days. It's about how you actually put yourself out there. And I've taken the summer off, Jeffrey. I mean, I haven't really been active as I would typically be on social media. I got up to a certain point. I thought, you know, I'm going to pause. I'm a caregiver for my mom and my sister here in Arizona. And, you know, I help with family, doctor's appointments and things like that. And I work in between, and I create a life that I love. And the reality is you have an opportunity to bring some joy to the world, something positive, and make it matter. And that's really what my mission in life is do as much as I can for the people that are searching for their voice. They're searching for meaning. They're searching for that gift and that message that they need to share in order to make an impact on the world.
Now, then, as you say that, and much love to you too, Tim. Great guy.
Yeah.
I read through your bio. You seem like you have a mission statement: be seen, be heard, build authority.
Yep.
Everyone has a gift, mission, and value. How'd you come up with that?
Well, it goes back to you know, in the early days of radio, it was you had to have a producer. You had to have, you know, an engineer. You had to have a radio station. You had to have a license. You had to have the FCC license. And that's where the pirate broadcast motif came from is if you didn't have these things and you were broadcasting just like we are today, you were considered a pirate broadcaster.
Okay.
And so, and not a lot of people know about that. And it's okay because it's like being a pirate is more about working outside the box, you know, thinking from a different mindset, thinking about that. So now that we can pick up our phone and start on Anchor for free, you know, you can actually broadcast on Facebook, Twitter, live stream for free, and you can do it over your phone. So, you know, that's what it means to be seen, to be heard, and be building authority, and, you know, be talked about. And just like you're in episode 7 or series 7, and this is, you know, from your season 7, episode 1, and that's a huge accomplishment. And a lot of people don't realize how much they can actually accomplish by, you know, everybody has a gift, everybody has a mission, everybody has something that they can share. You know, something that I don't know. And if you share it, I might become aware of it. And if I'm interested in it, I might want to learn more about that.
Okay.
So by sharing your gifts, we can all become closer and relatable, which builds relationships that then we can leverage, and we can actually learn more about what each other is interested in. And just because we may not get along on every subject or agree, what is the right way to do something, it doesn't mean we can't learn from each other.
That's true.
And you cannot teach without learning. So that whole idea of, share your message, be seen, be heard, and be talked about, share your gifts and your message and is really, it's very straightforward. And I've been the antidote for the chaos and the confusion about the overwhelm of what it takes to get there. So
now you have another, I guess that's a mantra: show up, go live, build authority.
Yeah. Just like what you're doing. Show up, go live, and building authority is the result of being there, showing up. There's people in the room right now. You got David, you got Russ, you got Chester, you got Tim. You got people here that are aware of you, and every chance you get, you have something that you're building up on. You bring a new guest on, you bring different talent, you start different conversations. That helps build authority. And so when somebody says, well, do you know Jeffrey? He's CEO, he's doing these live streams. Have you heard of him? And pretty soon everybody's going to say, yeah, I do. And then he owns a broadcasting company. He's going out there doing these great things.
I claim that.
Helping more people help more people.
Mm-hmm.
It's all connected. It's all connected, Jeffrey.
I agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
I mean, my goal is when I do get to my billion, I don't want to be at the table by myself. I want a long, infinite table where a lot of us are eating good, taking care of our family.
It's much easier when you have friends along the journey, right?
Yeah, because they ain't gonna try to rob you because they're like, dang, you got all the food and I'm starving. Like, you ain't help your mans? What kind of friend are you?
No.
And you should.
And here's the reality is anyone that feels they can't give something away because somebody's going to take it and do something with it. I just don't feel that that's the right way of looking at life. There's so much abundance. There's so much opportunity out there that you and I and Tim and Russ, we could all work together in order to accomplish bigger goals. Hey, Tim, thank you so much. Cannot teach without learning. Mic drop from the great Russ Johns. I love you, Tim. Love you. And as long as we're helping each other grow and expand our ability and our opportunities, there's no limit to what the opportunities and the abundance could bring to the table.
Absolutely. Shout out to Patricia, said that's true.
Yep.
Hope to have her as a guest.
True story. Yeah, it's all about community.
Mm-hmm.
And Tim is he is a master at building relationships and starting conversations and being in a place that allows us to actually appreciate the vision and the wisdom that he's bringing. And it's really important for people to understand that we can learn from anyone and, bring the people in that are positive influences, bring the people that are doing great work, that are showing up, going live, sharing the wisdom. And you can learn so much from the process. It's a simple process.
It's interesting you speak on that because the few people I've helped start a podcast, somebody might look like, well, why are you helping them? Like,
why not?
What they're going to do is going to be different from what I do. The way I do it is my own unique way of doing this show. So why would I not want to help someone else do it? Ain't no telling where they're going to go with theirs.
If I can help someone start a podcast just like that, it doesn't take anything away from me.
Mm.
There's going to be different people that are, looking to appreciate what other people are doing. It's like, absolutely. Hey, help be the wind in the wings, lift it up, help people. And there's no downside at all. And I think people, when the scarcity mindset comes into play, that's what happens is it's like, okay, if I give it away, it's not going to be valuable, and it's like Tim says, showing up, hashtag showing up. And there's no reason why we can't help others around us, because together we're stronger. And it's a matter of, learning out. Yeah. Shout out to Bette Midler.
That was hilarious.
You got to love it. You got to love it.
And it's a cool aspect to have the people engaging. I see why they was asking for that, which I stepped out to learn this so I can do it. Because I could have just kept doing audio, but you're missing out. Because what God got for you, it ain't going to be just like in a little ball. It's going to be infinite.
No.
If you do it right.
I'm launching a membership site in the Pirate Syndicate. I've been tooling with this for a long time, Jeffrey. But the reality is that if I could do workshops every week and I could invite other people into these workshops and interview them and share that knowledge and that their techniques or, something about technology or another way to start a conversation. I mean, and bring people together that want to learn, then it's a simple equation. It's a very simple equation. We come in, we learn together, we share experiences, we build a community around it. And then all of a sudden, if somebody needs some help, you have somebody there that can actually offer advice and assistance and support your goals. And that's really, that's the accumulation of my years of teaching and experience. And it's like, I just need to put this in a way that, I can actually share this value and other people can benefit from it. And so that's coming up.
And that's building legacy. Because even the people I helped, my sister started hers, Melissa Johnson, she started hers again.
Yeah.
The people that, wherever it takes them, I started with Jeff. Like, oh, okay. You will be in the name mentioned, as Tisha Ham was saying, rooms you don't know about.
Yeah.
So be a blessing. You'll be blessed.
That goes back to be seen, be heard, and build authority.
Now, what is the Pirate Syndicate podcast?
Well, the podcast itself was branded under the Pirate Broadcast.
Okay.
So the Pirate Syndicate, piratesyndicate.com is the brand that actually produces shows for other people and actually helps. I mean, I have courses there now, and you can actually, I'm going to be launching a mini course, 6-day mini course here in the next week.
Okay.
That you can it'll teach you, what you need to think about, some of the things you need to consider before you go launching, and it'll pass it along. And then the Pirate Syndicate is going to be the membership site for that. And then the people that want to go on to be producers, then I'll do coaching for the producers and teach them the Pirate process, because I got a specific process that I produce shows with.
Okay.
The notifications, the follow-up, the invitations, the booking process, getting guests on, all that stuff that I've spent years working on. And so that the Pirate Syndicate is kind of the hub for all that information. So there's going to people, the membership will include people that want to just start their own show and they want to learn more about content creation and, starting conversations, or it's going to be, the other side is going to be teaching people on how to produce shows. And eventually I'm going to be creating certifications. So if you're a certified producer, it's going to mean something. It's going to have some credentials around that and build that authority. So, because I'm marketing to marketing agencies that don't have the resources that, they're not quite there with their own team and they just need shows produced.
Okay. So it's awesome. You got Patricia. If I can help somebody as I pass along, then my living will not be in vain. That's very true.
Absolutely, Patricia. I love that.
She got another one. Each one needs one, and until we realize that, we won't succeed. Absolutely.
Yep. Amen to that.
Man,
all of these people you've had conversations on your show, Russ, which one stands out the most to you? Wow. Tim, there's so many that stand out to me on the Pirate broadcast, and all for different reasons. I've cried on the show. I've laughed on the show. I've been upset on the show. Awesome. I've had technical issues.
Been there. That last episode.
And the shows that stand out to me are the ones that I still have friends from because of the show. The friendships that I have as a direct result of being on the show, interviewing somebody, and then having long-term conversations and ongoing relationships. Russ Hedge is a perfect example of that. We connected long time ago. He, sent me a text message and, said, "Hey, Russ, would you mind answering a few questions?" This was before he was live streaming. I said, "Yeah, sure. Let's jump on a call." And it's the ideas that I think are more meaningful to me than a single individual. I think it's the idea that we can actually make these connections, build these relationships, have this love of life, and the reality of being important. Your show, being on your show, the 24-hour marathon of doing that, times that I've had on with Gabe Leal, and going on a 4-hour marathon. These are all epic adventures that we've had in our experience. Mm-hmm. And I will never get over the fact that there are amazing people out there doing incredible things with their life and sharing their gifts with others. Tim is such a giver, and it's really about how we can show up. Daniel Hall, incredible individual, and he's doing so much with his software solution. Get him on the show. Yeah, get him on the show. And the reality is all of these people play, from billionaires to yoga instructors. I've had so many amazing people on the show. It's really hard to pin it down to a unique individual, but the experience that we all share as a result of putting information out there is key.
Yeah. Tim say shout out to Russ and Leah Hedge.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I love it.
What has been the challenges and impact so far in your journey?
The challenges?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll tell you my most challenging experience.
Okay.
And some of you may remember this. So I had committed to doing 5 days a week. I did 500 days a week for over 500 episodes, nonstop.
Wow.
5 days a week,
legendary.
Nonstop.
Wow.
500 episodes, okay?
Wow.
So in 2020, my dad passed away.
Sorry to hear.
And so before his service, I did a show. And then after his service, I was on a Friday. And after his service, my son and I, we went to do a photo shoot. We were out in the hills, and he had his 4-wheel drive, and we were out four-wheeling around the countryside,
Nice.
And we had the drone out, and we were doing some photos, and he wanted me to take some shots of his 4-wheeler coming down a hill. And I got out of the car and I started walking down this hill, and it was much steeper than I anticipated. I got to the bottom, and I was running so fast, I landed on what was a very hard surface, and it was very painful, and I ended up breaking my hip.
Ooh.
And so it's Friday night. about 7:00. And so I said, well, we better probably go get it x-rayed. And having been a firefighter and an EMT, I already knew that my hip was broken. And so we drive down to the hospital. I get out. They take an x-ray. Of course, it's broken. And it's like my leg's not moving with my body. Something's not connected. So we're 20 miles up into the wilderness, four-wheeling. All of a sudden, I got to take a ride to the hospital. And it's an hour back or so. I don't know how long it took, but it was not a comfortable ride.
Oh, no.
And so here I am with a broken hip riding back to the hospital, civilization. And it's a Friday night. Saturday, I'm supposed to be at, kind of a celebration of life episode, a small family thing that, because of COVID. But all of a sudden, I'm in the hospital getting surgery for, getting bolted together with this hip.
Ooh.
So then afterward, Saturday night, I think it was Sunday morning, they released me. Got out Sunday morning. So we're driving back. I got to drive from Utah back to Arizona. So my son says, get in, we'll go. So we drove from Utah to Arizona. Then, so I was almost back Monday morning, but I wasn't back Monday morning, but I was on doing the show 7 a.m. Arizona time.
Wow.
Doing a show on the phone, mobile, broadcasting. And so I didn't skip a beat, but
you legendary, man.
it wasn't exactly pain-free. So
yeah, I've gotten back to making sure I do Fridays, because my nephew was murdered in April, unfortunately, and that kind of had me just stop what I was doing a little bit.
Yeah.
Then when I started thinking about, like, he would get on your head, like, what you doing? You got to get out here and get it. You supposed to be doing all this, so I'm good. I was saved. I'm with Jesus. Don't handle it.
Yeah.
And I started to slowly get back to where I am now with the grind. It took something. And we were doing music. We was going to work on music together. I'm like, dang, just help raise them. So that was definitely a different experience, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I finally kind of got back to now where, okay, I'm back grinding, be on LinkedIn, engaging people more, not just post what I'm doing and keep moving, but as a community, a lot of these people engage with them.
Yeah.
And stuff happens, unfortunately, but you do have to bounce back over time.
Well, hopefully, we can. And, tragedy happens. We can't escape it.
No.
And the reality is that we have to make a choice. We have to choose to do what it takes to take the next step.
Yeah.
We can't always decide that it's, and sometimes it takes a long time to heal. My oldest son committed suicide, and it's really, as a parent, it's really hard for that loss to, not impact you. And it does. And everybody works through it in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to show up for ourselves. We have to move forward through the grief. We have to, find a way out and know that life will never be the same. And that difference in our future has to be something that we believe in, like music. Like I mentioned, I created like 120 tracks last year just to kind of help my own mental, mental health wellness, and it's like, there's nothing that we can do to change some things in our life, but we need to focus on what we can control, what we actually have the ability to overcome, and then take steps in that direction.
Yeah. I definitely pray for my sister and brother-in-law. He was like everybody kid. He was the first grandkid. And I saw that it really impacted everybody because clear. He's over there. Like, okay, I'm doing something like that. Dang, that was everybody's kid kind of that we knew before they started having family. But you do move to a new normal, and it's still a process. When I work with music now, I still think about him.
Yeah.
He had talent for rapping. His dad could rap. So you definitely just got to keep moving forward. And speaking of music, is that your escape as well? I know that's mine.
That's my escape. Yeah. Yeah. And it's, I'm not a singer, per se. I've had, my opportunity to belt out a tune once in a while.
You want part of ZZ Top, man?
Ow. Yeah.
Thanks, Tim. Appreciate it.
But yes, thank you, Tim. I really appreciate it. The reality is that it's very therapeutic. Even if I'm just noodling in the studio, and just coming up, like I'll go out at different times and I'll do samples. I'll go out and record things and just sample them and create something out of it. And just the process of creating, the creative process is what I love. And my goal, I'll tell you my goal, Jeffrey, is when I'm 70, I want to be up there I used to do dubstep I used to have dubstep concerts in Houston and do a DJ, and so I do live shows. And so my goal is when I'm 70, I want to go back and do some more live shows. It's like, it'd be like, the old guy on the set. So,
okay. Yeah. My goal is to have a greatest hits album.
Awesome.
When I'm dead and gone, they playing my greatest hits. Now,
that's beautiful.
What instrument for you, like you play it just take you to a different place? For me, it's playing the piano. I start playing that, I'm just in a whole different vibe.
Mine's the computer.
Okay.
Yeah. All of my stuff is more like ambient computer music. Beats, I'm into the rhythm, and I want to expand on that, and that's what I've produced so far. It's and you can go listen to it on tunefarmer.com, and it's really it's out there. And I've actually collaborated with some other people, and I'd like to produce some other tracks with other people, and it's a matter of taking the time to dedicate to learning the craft and improving the craft. And I started in Pro Tools years ago, and I'm Ableton Live now, and so creating something is
that's what I want to get better at.
It's not as difficult as it used to be. So but live music was my first, playing live in front of a crowd has always been just something I've always loved to do.
I look forward to that.
Yeah.
Sounds scary, but I still look forward to it.
Yeah, exactly.
If looking at you like, that's Jeff up there.
Yeah.
But when people sing your music back to you, that gotta be. Yeah. I remember I went to a Brian McKnight concert in Detroit years ago in the winter, and I think it was Anytime. And when they got to the chorus, he'd stop and just point the mic out. Like, I was blown away. Like, wow, this whole crowd know the chorus.
Yeah,
that gotta be real cool.
Yeah,
sing it back to you.
It's amazing, but that goes back to the idea that you got to show up to stand out, and it's not necessarily that you're standing out to be an ego trip. As much as it is to be a incentive or an inspiration for other people to do the same thing. And that's what live streaming is to me. It's the inspiration that other people anyone can do this. If I can do this, you can do this.
Yeah.
And if you have something to say, you need to say it.
Yeah. For music, Babyface is my role model. And I guess podcasts is watching all of the sports shows. How that's pretty much they know podcasting. I can do that.
Yeah.
Now I ain't know about this angle, when you're interviewing people, I ain't think that far ahead. But it's pretty cool because you meet extraordinary people and learn about their life and what got them to where they are, where they're doing incredible things.
Yeah.
All right. Last question. What advice do you have for someone trying to find their purpose?
Find their purpose. I've shared this many times, and it's really important that you stay curious.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of things, there's a lot of jobs that I've had that I wouldn't necessarily recommend. However, those are jobs that somebody might enjoy. Some people love what they do. And, checking off the list of things that you don't want to do helps you narrow it down. There's a lot of people that don't find what they're passionate about because they don't experiment enough. So you really have to take the time to go out and experience life. And you may like it for a little while, and then after a while, it may be that, hey, it's time to do something else. I've been very fortunate to be able to do a lot of different things in my life, and farmer's market to firefighter. That's pretty broad range, and having the opportunities out there to experience life like that, you have to actually participate in your own life. You have to go out and do something. You can't read about it, or you can't watch it on YouTube and not experience it. If you see something you're curious about, find somebody that's doing it. Go out and see what it's like, and ask questions. What is this like to do it every day for a year? It's more about finding joy in the moment. It's more about finding happiness with what you have and gratitude for what you have. Because when it really comes down to it, we don't need a lot to live. We just think we need a lot to live. And if you can actually enjoy what you have and appreciate the things, you can live very minimally and very happily. And, sometimes, a quick story here is the idea that, I worked really hard at one point in my life to build a career, have all the things, all the stuff. And my dream became a nightmare because it was a burden and it was so much stress. And I was commuting, I was traveling, I was working, 120 hours a week. It was insane. And the reality is that sometimes what we think we want isn't actually what we want.
True. It just looks
but
shiny.
going out and experimenting and finding out what you enjoy doing just naturally. If you can find something you love to do, it never becomes work.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's some great
True
advice.
Story.
Well, I definitely want to thank the fellow musician, live stream production specialist, owner, CEO of the Pirate Syndicate podcast, Russ Johns, for this very engaged and enlightening conversation. And you've done a lot of jobs, my brother. I heard that firefighter EMT in there, like he did the world. I see. What are you talking about? We got out there.
Yeah. I'm very blessed, Jeffrey. I'm very blessed. And so if I can give it back, more than happy to have a conversation. You can always go to LinkedIn, find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, book Russ if you want to start a call or start a conversation or just touch base and ask questions. More than happy to connect with you. Anyone.
I'll have to look you up on Facebook myself.
There you go.
Well, until the next time, my brother, you have a great weekend. I get you a copy of the episode when I'm done doing everything. This was another great one.
It's been a pleasure. Gratitude for your time.
Thank you. Have a good one.